Nick, will you read that one more time loud and clear?
Romans 12, therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Nice. What?
Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's a nice quote. It's a nice verse.
Yeah, nice. Here's what it is. Present all of your imagination, all of your thoughts to him. All of your little, what you think of sins, all of your ideas about God, another human being, whether it's a preacher, teacher, a regular person, or songwriter, give it all to God. Have no ideas, have no plans, have no concerns. Resist the devil by resisting the thoughts and let God take care of it. And then you will present your body a living sacrifice because you will have no idea, even the idea about, you have no idea about anything, right? Even your ideas about Christ and about God. The ideas that you have about Christ is from the imagination. The ideas that you have about a preacher, or I read a report that Lisa Marie Presley aspired, right? And according to the report, I don't know her, but she was in debt. She was on alcohol, drugs, or at least drugs. She'd been married 4 times. Her son committed suicide, according to the report. 3 daughters left, I think, behind. And you would, in your imagination, you would look at Lisa Marie and think, wow, I want to be that. All that money, all that Graceland, and all that, right? You got to come out of the thought so it doesn't create image. The worst thing, not the worst, but up there with the list of worst things is graven images. And images come from thoughts, and thoughts are of the devil. Your plan comes from thoughts, and thoughts are of the devil. What you think you want come from thoughts, and thoughts are of the devil. And you're going to see this when the light of God, when your heart changes from anger to love, and you stay with it, and the walls start tumbling down. All of these thoughts and images that your parents and the teachers in the world have taught you, you're going to see how wrong they have been. That's why they never work. That's why life doesn't work for you. You got to let all images go. So I beseech you to give your whole self to God. All of the thoughts, all of your images that you have, all of your imagination, give them to him. And the way you give them to him, stop believing them, watch them, just watch them, and just watch them because the light of God that's causing you to see them, and the light will destroy the darkness. All images are dark. It's of the devil. It's not you at all. It has never been you, and it's not you. But you have taken credit for it as though it is you. And that's why you have not been freed up yet, because if you can see right now that all thoughts are all lies, everything I thought has been wrong, you can walk out of this room never living in that again. But you're so stooped into believing that is you. That's why when a pain comes, you cry. Oh, Lord, help me. That's why when a good feeling comes, oh, Lord, thank you. It is all from the devil. It has nothing to do with God. And the Christians talk about, oh, Lord, how majestic is thy name, oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, how majestic is thy name. And they have this image in their head. And as soon as the end of the song, they cussing each other out, they gossiping, they're afraid, they have misery. Because that image has faded from this old majestic God to the devil, the dark devil. Even the majestic image of God in their mind is the devil. All thoughts are all lies. When I said years ago that all thoughts are all lies, I didn't even know the depths of it. But you will know when the ego starts to die. Stop protecting the ego. Stop protecting your image. Don't protect the image. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and look like a bomb and that kind of stuff. But if the house is on fire, you have on a dirty robe. Okay, y'all come and get me. Just save me. Don't worry about the robe. I'll clean it up later, right? But once you forgive your mother, that image will disappear. But all thoughts is what God wants you to present to him. The imagination. Bring every thought into captivity. And I know I brought this up last when I asked the question. Most people refer to a physical thing, but I was talking about spiritually. The kingdom of heaven is within. The life and everything is within us. Everything we want, everything we need is within, not without. The Old Testament is done except for those who have not overcome the Old Testament by forgiving. But we need to live the New Testament. We need to live life. And unless you present your body a living sacrifice, you're not going to be able to do it. You got to overcome thoughts. And this thing about, I got to go up at a job and make it better, a promotion. A lot of people get promotion at work and they're just happy. But if they found out, let's say that, I don't know what your name is, but Robert and I started a job at the same time, right? And Robert and I showed up at the same time, on time, did our work, and it was time for a race. And then Robert got his raise, and he was like, yes, I got a raise. And I got a raise, and I'm like, yes, I got a raise. And then at lunch I asked Robert, how much money did you get, Robert? Or Robert asked me, how much did I get? And he said, well, I got a $7 raise. I said, really? I got a $10 raise. All of a sudden, that excitement is out the window. All of a sudden, the $7 ain't much. Isn't that something? That's what the imagination would do for you. That's a nice example, huh? It just popped in my head right now. But because of what he said about the job, the world is not supposed to make you feel excited or down. But you're in the world because it owns you. It has a grip on us that it's not going to let go of. You got to overcome it. And the way you overcome the world is forgiving your parents first and yourself, and watch those thoughts disappear, and you'll overcome the world. Amazing, huh? Yes, Nick, you had your hand last word. Did you have your hand?
Yeah, I'll be quick. This might help somebody because last week this was an assignment. And then after church, I was like, but how am I going to do an assignment if I don't know what that means? And you're like, oh, okay, so yeah. And you kind of explained a little bit. And I guess you thought against explaining after that. But so I kind of knew a little bit. I was privy to some info. This week I really put it into practice, and I didn't know how much I wanted to do stuff, like deal with the thoughts. Like everything, the thoughts, it always presented me something to deal with. Like, now you got to go do this. Now you got to go fix this. Now you go. And I thought I was already kind of dealing with that, but I was like, wow, it's always making me wanting to deal with something. So I just like let it go. Like, let me just not deal with it.
Nice.
So maybe that helps.
Whatever the thoughts tell you to do, don't do it. Just don't do it. If your reputation is on the line, let's say your reputation is on the line, and the thoughts like, wow, what's going to happen? Your reputation on the line. Now you're scared and you're afraid and you want to run and resolve the problem some kind of way because the devil is now telling you how to fix the problem. He caused the reputation to be on the line, and then he tried to tell you how to fix it, and you're running around frantically trying to fix it, only creates some more problems, right? But if you didn't think of yourself with a reputation doesn't mean anything. It's just an image. It's just a word. And if you didn't think of it as a reputation, then you have nothing to lose because you never thought of myself as a reputation. I have a reputation to protect. You have nothing to protect. That's a setup from the world. When I asked the question about presenting your body to people, like, I started going to the gym. I make sure I eat right. Nobody care about that. You would naturally take care of yourself because when you're in the light, you're not going to overeat. You're not going to you do things in moderation. You won't overdo sweet food. Your money situation, whatever you say you're paying for the future, or nest egg, you will automatically have a nest egg because your needs would be less. You wouldn't have the same needs that you have in your ego state. You'll be able to do it without a lot of stuff. And so you wouldn't be wasting the money, and so the money would naturally be there for saving and buy some property or whatever. But when you try to make yourself have a nest egg or nest, whatever you said, you got to work at it. And then it's always empty. You got to try to fulfill it because situations happen. So overcoming the thoughts, folks, by overcoming the ego, and it's not nothing you can do but work on watching it so you can stop identifying with it. And don't let the world give you any more of these titles. Oh, I'm HDD. I was talking to a guy who was ready to commit suicide in one of the counseling sessions. He was like in his car, ready to kill himself. And because over some woman. And he tried all he could to make the woman happy and just couldn't do it. And so he was like, I'm gonna kill myself. And somebody told him to call. And he called. And I said, man, that's not you, that's the devil talking to you. God is never gonna tell you to kill yourself. He gave you life, he gave you love. He's never gonna take that away from you. It's the devil that wanna rob you of that. Forgive that woman, she got her problems. Forgive your parents, stop judging yourself, and move on with your life. Dump the woman and go on. They had no children anyway. Dump her and go on. And now the guy wanna live. Because he would believe a lie. He was so frustrated trying to make life out here work, and he couldn't, and now it's fine. He's doing fine now. Because he's no longer trying to make life work. Life will work for you. You don't need to make it work. It doesn't need your help. You are life. You are the image of God, but you identify with the image of the devil. And so in closing here, when people come at you, they try to hurt you, whatever they do, whether it's husband, wife, children, your enemies, just wish them well and watch how you're feeling about it. And just let the feeling go through you. Because it's a false image. Because if you didn't have this image of yourself, there's nothing anyone can do to hurt you. The false image is what's causing the problem for you, and that's from the devil. It's not even you. Amazing. Any question about that? Anyone disagree with it? What?
I don't disagree.
Nice. Good, man. So here's what I tell you. You got to be willing to become your own man, your own woman. You got to be one with the Father, right? If you follow the crowd, you're not going to make it because the crowd has a false image as well, and they are reacting and overreacting and overreacting, and you're trying to overcome your false image. You're going to follow the crowd, end up in a ditch. And if you're not identified with the crowd, you're not getting a sense of identifying, you'll be able to hang out with people, have fun and stuff, but you won't get any image of it at all. So become your own man, your own woman by overcoming the imagination. Do the silent prayer. Be still. Do your little hoopity holler if you're still doing it, but be still, because all this verbal prayer you're doing is to the devil. You're not praying to God. You're praying to the devil. And the devil makes you cry. He makes you laugh. He makes you feel good. It's still the devil. And a lot of people get joy from crying out of their sadness when they, oh Lord, it's just been so hard. Mama died. Oh Jesus, I couldn't pay the rent. Oh, my poor baby, her husband beat her. She had another baby out of wedlock. There was a woman on a TV show, she had 7 children out of wedlock by 7 different men. And her mother had 20 kids by 20 different men, something like that. And the mother trying to tell the daughter how to do it. I'm like, what the? But anyway, you do your little, oh Lord, I need a house. I need a dollar bill. Oh Lord, they told me the other day, Jesus, that the gas price is going up in LA. The bill's gonna double. Lord, how am I pay for that? You're praying to the devil. God will take care of you. He really will. He really, truly will. The only way he hasn't done it because you have not trusted him. You pretend you're touching, but you're not. All right? So do the silent prayer. Watch. And some people want to argue over meditation and watching, observing. Don't argue. If you believe meditation fine, do you love meditation? Why you got to be mad at someone who just want to observe? Or why the observer want to be mad at me? It's like, it's dumb to fight over religion. That's in the imagination too. To fight over God is ridiculous. To try to prove God to anyone is all ego. Just all ego. Fighting over religion, just think about that. There's a nice man out of Texas, he called my show every day trying to prove Jesus is not God. I'm like, you know your mind got to be messed up. That you spend a lifetime to prove Jesus is not God. No, Jesus is not a Jew. Wait, well, how does he do that?
I don't even remember.
The guy from,
I don't know.
okay. What did he try to prove that? He's
yeah,
a black Hebrew.
that he's not the Savior, that he's not Lord.
Oh yeah, he's trying to prove Jesus is not Savior, not Lord, but somebody else is. If you believe Jesus is not that, go on and believe it. Why you got to prove that he's not? Why argue about it? You know what I'm saying? The fact that you're trying to prove it means that you don't believe it. You know there's something wrong with this. It's all in the imagination. Anyway, so smoke on it? Well, so many people smoke pot. I don't mean really smoke. I mean, yes, something. All right, so we're out of time here. Thank you for your support. We'll do the super chats and the donation thing tomorrow. We're having a women's forum this Thursday night. This Thursday is the third Thursday of the month already for ladies only. Thursday, and then Friday, Sunday morning meetings, all right? But stay with the prayer, folks, really. It's going to be amazing when that ego, and the ego is not, it's painful. It is very painful only because we've identified with it. If you didn't identify with it, it wouldn't be painful. It'd be over just like that. The ego would be gone just like that. But because you think it's you fight to keep it, even though you try to let it go, you still fight. If the pain is bad, oh, Jesus, I don't want this, right? So do the silent prayer. Stay with it. Stay with it. If it takes 1,000 years, you stay with it, all right? Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for coming. It was amazing. Nice.